Hey guys, in this video we're going to Dockerize our Vue.js application, and actually you can apply this one in any Node.js application. What's that mean is that we're going to use Docker to create a container with our application that we can ship and we can share with colleagues, and we can share with friends and with actually anyone that have Docker installed in his system, and he can run our application. It's going to work the same way that it's working in our machine. Okay, so that's the beauty of the Docker, is that when you share containers between persons and between servers, they're going to work all together exactly the same, because they encapsulate in container with all the dependency, and this container is working same everywhere. Okay, so the few steps that we have to do first is that we have to install Dockers in our system. And the disclaimer of this video, guys, is that by no means I'm some Docker expert. Okay, so I know few commands and few commands here, few commands there, and I know how to create the image, but not so much more. So bear with me, probably we're going to learn something together. Okay, so like I said, to install Dockers in your system, it's different, and it's depending on the system that you use. Okay, in my case I use Linux, and I use Linux Mint, and I found a script that is very easy to install everything all together. So I'm going to put this script for you guys in the description, but if you use Windows or you use Mac, I'm sure that you can find some description that how you can do this with Windows or with Mac. Okay, so in my case, like I say, I'm using Linux Mint, and here in GitHub Gist I found very nice for sh. It's a bash script. Okay, what we do is that it's very easy and simple process, is that I'm going to copy all the content from here, and then I'm going to create the executable file somewhere in my system. Let's say that, for example, we go in our desktop. Okay, and then let's do it here in the desktop. We say nano, and we say docker install.sh. We open with the nano, then we can paste the commands here that we have, and as you can see that first of all we're going to pick some dependency that we need, then we're going to add the key in our system, and then we're going to apply as well. We go to add the repository. When we get the repository of Dockers, we're going to update, and then we're going to install the repository. Okay, and then as well we pick here as well we give some permissions. Okay, so when we have this file saved, you can save by pressing Ctrl X, and then you just say enter, because yes, we say yes and we press enter. Save file name, default name, yes, we okay with this. Okay, so what we can do now is that we can run this file by typing sh, and then we say docker, it's that one here, actually this one have to be a sh, sorry about that. Let's rename it, and let's put just sh, should be fine, and here it's just sh, and we press enter, and it's going to ask for your password, and it's going to ask you and give you some question. During the installation you say yes, that we want to install the dependency, then it's going to ask you as well for the key that you want to add in your system, and soon it's going to be done. Well, I found that with this script it's very easy to install Dockers and have it prepared in your system and start working it, but in a few minutes. Okay, like I said, guys, when you use Windows or Mac, you have as well an easy way to install. There's a user interface as well that you can install in your system. Okay, well, not for Linux for the moment. Okay, so we done with this. Let's see the version of Docker that we have, and we have 18.9 the version. Okay, that's fine for us. So now let's create our container, our Node.js container that we can use it. Let's say that we open the terminal and we navigate to desktop, and here we create a folder that's called Docker. Okay, and then we cd into Docker. Okay, and now it's time to create our Node.js application here inside this container. It's not necessary to be in container like this one. I just name it Docker, and I because I want to know that I have a folder that all my Docker's container are going to live inside. So you can name it whatever you want. Okay, so what we do here is that because I'm using Vue.js CLI, so I can quickly create one application. For the sake of the example, I'm going to use it, and if you want, you can use React create application, or you can use some different way to create Node.js. That's up to you, but the principle and the steps, they are very similar. Okay, in my case I say Vue create, and then we say Docker test app. Press enter. Here I have a configuration, default configuration that I set before, so yes, I want, because that's the configuration with route and everything, and it's the best way that we can test our application that is working correctly. Okay, so what we want now is the one where we have the application. First of all, we're going to test that everything is working correctly in our local environment. Okay, and if everything is working correctly in our local environment, then it's time to create the Docker file inside in our project, and I show you why we need the Docker file. Let's cd into Docker test app. Okay, and now we say I'm using Yarn. What was it? Yarn Surf, I think so. And now it's going to build everything for us, and we can check that the application is working in 8080. It's working perfectly. We have about and we have homepage. Okay, for the moment we can close it because we don't need it, and we can close here as well. Okay, let's go to open with the code editor, the code editor that you can, well, the code editor that you're using. Okay, once when we're ready, so what we do here is that here we're going to create the Docker file, and the Docker file is going to be responsible for give some set of configurations that once when we run the Docker build, it's going to be executed and it's going to create the container. Okay, so you see what I mean by that when we start to create it. Okay, a capitalized Docker file, we say enter. Okay, so the first we're going to separate into steps our configuration. The first step is going to be the build stage. Okay, the build stage is the where we're going to build everything for our application that we need. As you know, that if you run npm run build, it's going to compile and put everything in this folder, and this folder for the moment we don't have it because we don't run in any moment the build command. Okay, but we want to make sure that that's going to happen in our Docker container. So for this, let's make a comment here, and we say that it's the build stage. Okay, so for the build stage, we first of all we want to pick a Node.js image. Okay, and the Node.js image we can pick it from the official Docker hub. Okay, so what we do here is that we say from, and here we have to say Node, and let's see actually what version we want of of not. So how we do this, you just Google it and you say Docker Hub not. We want to see what version we want to use for this. So let's say that now we're going in version 11. So yeah, we can use the version 10.13. Alpine. What's mean Alpine? Well, this version is coming with one Linux, and that's the Linux project Alpine. That is a very tiny small Linux. It's about 5 megabytes, okay, but it's having the file system, it's having everything that we needed, okay. So actually we're going to use that one, and that's we say, just a second, what we say, 10.13 point, what was it here, 10.13.0 Alpine, okay. We go in our file again and we say here 10.13.0 and then dash, and we say here okay, and we say the as build stage, okay, as a build stage, okay. So what's that going to do is that once when we run the Docker command, the Docker build command, that's going to pick for us and it's going to download for us the Node.js image, and without being it's going to be in the build stage, okay. So the second that we want to specify is that we want to specify the working directory in our container. In our case, it's going to be app directory. So what we say is that you say work and then you say dir for directory. Have to be in the new line here, okay. Work dir, we say there is app, okay. That's the working directory that we are going to use it. And then the second step that we're going to do is that from the current directory that we are when we're going to run the command, we want to copy all the package.json files, okay. So how we do this is by saying copy, and then we specify package, and then we say all of them because there's some a different extension that you can find it, and then we say, well, not extension, but it can be package map and all this stuff, and then we say that's a JSON, okay, and we want to copy this in the current, okay, directory. So what we do so far is that we create the app directory, and then we copy the package.json inside of this directory, okay. And the next step is going to be run the command that is going to read the package.json. So it's a npm install, okay. So what that's going to do is that, like anytime when you create some Node.js application or when you use npm, okay, that's going to install all the dependency that we have in our package.json, okay. And once when that's done and it's install everything and it's create the node module directory with everything inside that we need, what we need to do is that we say copy again, and then we say start, it's not start, it's a dot. From dot means that then we copy all the files and all the directories that we have from here. We copy to the directory, the working directory that we just created, okay. So first of all, we need, just a second, there we go. So first of all, like I said, we run the npm install, so we get all the packages that we need, and the second step is that we copy everything inside, and then the third step is that we run the npm run build, and as you know that this one is going to create the dist file with everything compiled inside, and in most of the cases it's going to be a static content, okay. So let's save this part and let's create the second stage, and the second stage is going to be the production stage, okay. Here's when we going to put our nginx image, okay. So we say we say production stage here, and again what we do is the from, and we say nginx, and now again we going to found the version of nginx that you want to use, and that's always going to be depend of the time that you look in this video, because if you look in the future probably the version is going to be a different. So exactly for this is better idea that if you just go and you do the search for nginx, for example, and then again we go to use the Alpine version with the Linux that I tell you, because it's going to be everything prepared for us. So let's find one. There we go. We have a 1.14.1 pin. Okay. So what we say here, sorry about that, and here we say 1.14.1. Okay, 1.14.1, and then dash Alpine. Okay, and that's the version. And here again we say, like upstairs, we say production stage. Okay, so that's going to pick the images that the nginx image that we want. Okay, and the second step is, oops, sorry, we copy from the build stage, okay, from the upstairs that we have from the app directory that we create. Because if you remember, we create the app directories, and then we make npm run build, so that's going to create a dist. Okay, so what we do here is the from, we say this one, it's a build, from the build stage. Okay, we want to copy up and then the dist. Okay, we want to copy a dist, and we want to copy this in user, then share, then nginx, and then it's going to be the HTML directory. And if you work before with nginx, you know that that's the default path that you can put your content that you want to serve with nginx. Okay, obviously you can change the path, and if you have the configuration file, so you can put in some different way, but for our example that's perfectly fine. Okay, so what we do is from the build stage here, what means that when that's finished, we copy the content from the dist folder. Okay, and we copy it in our new created nginx image. Okay, well, new created nginx system, and we copy in the HTML directory. Okay, and then we have to say x that we want to expose in port 80. So means that, well, we specify the port that we want to expose, means in this case that we can access by running in port 8080. Okay, localhost, well, in this case the localhost is going to be it's going to be the Docker container once when we run this. Okay, and then we say smd for the command, and inside we say the nginx, and then we say here -g, and the important part here, it's daemon off. And what that means is that, just a second, okay, what that means is that for example we want the nginx is running every time when we start the container. Okay, like this, with the daemon off, we tell the Docker to tracking the nginx state. Okay, and every time when we run and we start the Docker again, it's starting the nginx as well in the same time. Okay, with this I think that we're ready. So what we can do is that we save we save the file here. Okay, and now we have to go in the terminal just to build first our Imagen, and then we going to run the Imagen. So the next step is going to be that we have to build our container. We have to run the execute the Docker file that we just created here. Okay, so we do this by using the command line. What we have to do is that you have to type Docker, and then you say build, and then we say -t, and then we specificate a name for the container, for example Dockerize Vue Js, then we say space, and then we say dot. Okay, we press enter, and it's going to build everything. Because I already built this this image before this, so for me it's going to be a quick process. But in your case, it's going to be a little bit more slowly if you do it for first time. Why? Because well, because we have to download the Node.js image, and then you have to download as well the nginx image. Okay, so it's going to take a little more time than usual, a little more time like I was doing now. But that's mean in the future when you're going to use some images with Node.js or with nginx. Well, when you create containers with Node.js or nginx, you already have download the Node.js and nginx container in your machine. Okay, so you don't need to download the next time when you're going to do this. Okay, so what we can do now is that we can run the command just to test that everything is working correctly. So what we do is that we say docker, and then we say run. So like this we can run our container. Then we give us an option with IT, and then we give us option for the port, and we say in port 8080, and our configuration we expose port 80. Okay, and then we say double option rm, and then we specificate name for the container. So we can, let's go to say Dockerize Vue. Okay, and the second parameter is going to be the name of the configuration that we just created before. So as a it was Vue Js indent. Okay, so let's see what's happening if we press enter. Okay, so we have error here, yeah, and that's going to be on our configuration file. I just missed to put the end here. Okay, we save it, and what we have to do now is that before that we run the container, we have to build again because we make some changes. That's going to be quickly. As I said, we have everything already downloaded, prepared. Okay, and now we can run again the command for there we go. Give us a second, and that's, I think that's working. So we can check that it's working correctly if we go in our browser and we say localhost, but in our case it's going to be 8080 and start, and here we go. As you can see, everything is working correctly. We have a home and about page, and the routing system has worked. And as you can see here, that we actually picking up everything from the localhost from our container actually. Okay, as you can see here, there's the 172.70.0 port 1. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. This video was a little bit more longer than the other one, but I show you, I think, quite many stuff that you can apply in the next project that you want to use Docker container for your Node.js project. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and if you're not subscribed yet, so please do it, and like this you can get more content in the future from me. Thank you and bye.